It's kind of hard to talk about Frieren Season 2 as its own distinct thing. It feels much more like a continuation of the first season than striking out on a new path, which in some ways is a great thing. When you have a first season as amazing and acclaimed as Frieren, keeping that ball rolling along smoothly is a solid strategy. The stories in Season 2 contributed to this feeling as well. They were smaller in scope, more episodic than something like the Mage Exam arc. The most memorable story, with Divine Revolt, was spectacular, but still was just 3 episodes in total. None of this is a critique, but I have a hunch that in the grand scheme of Frieren as an anime, Season 2 will be a nice reprieve between the Mage Exam arc and the forthcoming Golden Land arc. With so much the same, I tried to figure out what did change in this new set of Frieren episodes. It was a bit like a puzzle, looking for those intricate differences between the big chunks of plot. I do think that I found something, and while it may be a subtle shift, the effect is significant. I think that more than anything else, this season was about the maturation of Stark and Fern. As party members and as just people, they are taking on more responsibilities and positions of importance on their journey. What effect does this have on the shape of this anime story? And also, how does this impact the role of Frieren herself in this second season? I think the only proper place to start is with Stark. His character changed the most between seasons of the show, and it's not particularly close. His ascension from nervous recruit to confident frontliner is a quiet one, but it really ramps up right from the start of Season 2. In the premiere, he and the party decide to run from the monster in the cave, but in the process he learns how much the others trust him. Seeing Verbal try to recruit him is another indicator of how much he's grown. While still the goofy and clueless Stark that we've come to know and love, we do get to see him more in touch with his own emotions and those of the people around him. He is the one who sees who Gainau really is, and his naivety slowly morphs into an unshakable goodness. If stories like this are defined by level up moments for characters, no one has them like Stark in this season. He is the reason that he and Gainau are able to defeat Divine Revolt, and every other fight also features his strength and resilience. Being described as a freak of nature in a party like this is no mean feat. Stark ended up being a little pushed to the side towards the end of Frieren's first season, but in the second, he really steps up and becomes defined by his reliability as much as his lighthearted antics. He was a hero before, but now it really feels like he's carving out a name for himself. I think that Fern's changes are more subtle than Stark's, but still undeniably there. On the more obvious side, she is taking on larger roles in the fights the party has, especially in that same Divine Revolt arc I've mentioned before. It feels less like training and more like Frieren is relying on Fern these days, which is a notable shift. Beyond the fights though, it does feel like she is more the manager of the party and their travels than ever. Fern also seems to be opening up more than before. Her emotions are slowly becoming more easily discernible, whether that's connecting with Stark on their date or desperately trying to keep Metoda away from Frieren. She reflects on what this journey and this party mean to her, as well as thinking more on her past with her family and Heiter. Again, these are subtle shifts in the story, but I think that's part of what makes Frieren so awesome. These things slowly build until you look back one day and see how much these characters have grown and changed. Finally, I want to talk about Frieren herself. With the elevation of her fellow party members, it takes some of the pressures of leadership off. As a result, the Frieren we get to see in Season 2 is less focused on the wisdom she can impart and more a friend and companion to others. The imposing Frieren we saw in Season 1 doesn't really show up here. Instead, we get to see her more personable, more observant of her own feelings. She picks up on the dynamics between Fern and Stark of her own accord, shows Stark places he could take Fern on a date, and acts more out of kindness and understanding than we've seen before. It's funny to say for a 1,000-year-old elf, but this version of Frieren feels more mature too. When she reads through Himmel's old memoirs, she recognizes why these memories mean so much to him, and also so much to her. Frieren understands the love she has for Fern and Stark, and the love she had for her old party. This is worlds apart from the Frieren who was attacked by grief for her friends, the Frieren who felt too late the love in her heart. Seeing this accumulation of little moments from earlier episodes culminate in this way is one of the little triumphs of this stretch of the story. The growth from Season 1 was real and tangible, and showing that change instead of telling us about it is always a winning idea. For as much magical wisdom as she exhibited in Season 1, this Frieren has a connection to her emotions that feels equally essential. Frieren Season 2 has a lot of familiar faces doing familiar things. But beneath that surface layer, the dynamics of our main party have been shifting and rearranging. Fern and Stark feel like proper members of the group now, offering up skills and perspectives to stand alongside their leaders. This in turn has allowed Frieren as a character more space to be expressive and supportive, which I do think adds an extra layer of depth to her persona. It may all look the same, but this is not the same party that we left off with. I think that's a good thing, and it gets me really excited for the third season next year. And that ends today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I had a fun time teasing out the more subtle parts of this season of Frieren. I'm not sure I've seen another show that has such great action sequences while also having so much going on under the hood emotionally. Also, before anyone mentions it, you already know that I will eventually make a love and anime about Fern and Stark's relationship, but I wasn't ready to do it today. Without giving away too much, I have some special plans for that one that I want to gauge the feasibility of before making it, but know that it's coming. Their relationship does stick out in my mind as one of the more interesting ones I've seen play out in an anime. Also, if you have thoughts about Season 2, please tell me in the comments below. Do you think it lived up to Season 1? If not, why? I can't wait to read what you have to say. If you liked the video today and like video essays about all things anime, liking and subscribing helps a ton and will keep you in the loop, as does hitting the hype button on the mobile app. As always, I'm Slam Anime, and I'll see you next time.